So, a year after I became a widow, I went out on a date with a guy I met on Tinder. And he didn't know anything but my first name, and he lived in a different state from me, and he knew nothing about me. We had dinner at this restaurant. It was going fine until he looked at me and he said, "Who's Claudia?" And I looked back at him with stunned silence, and he said, "Claude?" He said, "The thing is, sometimes I get messages that I have to share with someone, and she just started talking through me, and I needed to tell you she wants you to know that you're doing great, and you're going to find love again." Now, Claudia's not one of the most common names, right? And we could jump to all sorts of conclusions about how he would possibly know the name of my dead sister-in-law who died 20 years before, who was a professional coach. She was always saying things like, "You can do it, you're doing great." And her name, we called her Claude. And the first thing I said to the guy was, "Well, why the hell isn't my husband talking to me through you?" He's like, "He has other things to do right now." So in his Tinder profile, he said he was intuitive. I thought he said he was intuitive. Apparently, he said he was an intuitive. He gave me his card in case I wanted a future reading. And that's the last time I've seen him. It wasn't the right fit for me. A few months later, I run into this acquaintance of mine. We were picking up our vegetables at the CSA, and I've known her for a long time, but as an acquaintance, her name's Emily, and Emily gives me this really intense look, and she says, "We have to have a drink." I'm like, "Okay." So we go out to a restaurant, and she orders us 2 tequila shots. And I said, "Emily, I don't drink shots." She goes, "You need to drink a shot." Now I'm getting nervous, right? And after she coaxes me into drinking the shot, she puts her hands out on the table and holds I'm like, what's going on here? This is an acquaintance. She wants to hold my hands in a restaurant. She said, "I'm sorry it took me 15 months to tell you this, but 3 days after your husband died, he came into my kitchen while I was doing the dishes. He was pacing back and forth in the kitchen because he was worried about you and our son." My husband was worried about me and our son. And then a few days later at the funeral, he came out into the parking lot when I was leaving, and he wanted to go in and see everybody at the funeral party. We were drinking Jack's Abbey Lager in his honor and talking about him, and apparently he was there. You know, the thing about Claudia was this guy had no idea who I was. And he gave me this bizarre message. This woman was an acquaintance who had absolutely nothing to gain from telling me what she told me. How could I not believe it? So I decided to believe it. I decided to believe that when someone leaves this earth in their body, that they are metaphysically in another plane, but they're still there because they've been there for me, and they've been kind to me, and they've given me the support I've needed when I really needed it. So I decided when those things happened that I believe. And it's a gift. Thank you.